Hi, welcome to another shed session. I'm Nigel Howarth, and today we're doing one of my classic dishes. What's that you're saying? It's black pudding and pink trout, so it dates back into the 17th century, a combination that was put together in Lancashire of, I think, pan-fried trout with black pudding. But we're going to do a classic black pudding, and we're going to steam the black pudding and then put it with like a warm, if you're French, rillette or pâté of pink trout. So, shall we run through the ingredients? Okay. To make the sauce, it's a classic sauce. So to make the sauce, we've got cream and we've got chicken stock and we've got some white wine. We're going to put some mustard in there and we've got some watercress. You can use nettle, and I do use nettle, but we're coming to we're coming to autumn, so the nettles aren't as young and fresh and as tender. So I've chose to use watercress. We've obviously got our Bury black pudding, and you can see the classic. I love the classic horseshoe black pudding. These aren't fatty black pudding. You can still get fatty black pudding, but these ones are the leaner for this particular dish. We've got a fillet of pink trout. We've got some butter, lemon, and some onion. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to pop our sauce on, and I'll pop the chicken stock in there, and there's about 200 ml of chicken stock and about 80 of white wine. A little bit more. You don't want too much white wine, and we've got to simply just reduce that by half for our sauce. So we'll turn that up, and there we go. The next job to do is we've got to chop an onion, so we need about 50 grams of onion. Okay, so chop your onion and not your finger is the secret. Okay, here we go. The onion's in. We're making 2 portions. Well, actually the black pudding will do 3 portions, this mix. We're going to prepare 2 portions. So chicken stock's reducing down, onions on. I'm going to actually turn that off now on that one, because it'll just saute away. I'll just break the black pudding in my bowl and peel the outer skin off. Go. You can obviously make your own black pudding, which I do, but it's quite a job with. It's a bit messy. It's a bit messy. Definitely too messy actually, for home anyway. Okay, they might not be the best gloves, but they do just keep your hands clean. Just grab that wooden spoon. I need this pan after, because we're going to sort of poach the trout in there. A little bit of butter. So we'll keep that pan there. And I'll try and mix this in now. And when you do have to give it a good old mix, because because the black pudding's pretty cold and the onion's obviously very warm. And just mix that in. It would be it's almost impossible to do that with a wooden spoon from the start. And there you go, you got your mix nice and ready there. Okay, so I'll just check how my sauce is, and that's looking good. So we'll just pop the cream in there. Okay, need to keep an eye on that, because when you put cream in a pan, do be aware that it will boil and boil over if you're not careful. So let's turn that, we just want that on a gentle simmer. Okay, but we do need it reducing. Okay, there we go. Right, next job, can bring our pan back into play there, and we're going to pop our trout in there. So, got a trout fillet, which is going to go in there. I'm going to pop 40 grams of butter in and just put it on a very, very low heat. So I just want it to sort of warm through and then cook through. Okay, I'm going to put some salt in there in a minute, but I'm just going to get that going first of all. Okay, so I think we can get most of these bits out of our way. Put them there, and then we can do our black pudding. So, piece of cling film, and we want to divide this into 3, and we're looking for about 90 grams. So I'll get my scales up. One. There we go. And then just bring your cling film around like so. And then they're going to go in these cutters. Okay, so that gives it a nice shape, and that's one done. We do a couple just in case. And trout's nicely melting. There we go. It is, if not the signature dish of mine, it is one of, it's a very, I suppose it's quite an unusual combination, and it's quite an unusual dish full stop, but it is a dish that was incredibly popular at Northcote for many, many years. In fact, for the whole time I was there, which is a long time. So again, pop it into our little cutter and just gives it a nice shape. I'll pop it a bit further down. There we go. Okay, and those can go in the oven, and they're on steam. And they need to steam for about 20 minutes, okay? So, let's have a think now. We can get rid of that. We've got sauce reducing down here. What I want to do now is put a little bit of seasoning in here, because I don't know whether you can see that there. Just starting to cook. We don't want to boil it. It's just got to gently poach. So it's on number 4 now. And even on number 4, I'm going to turn it down to number 3 just to make sure that I don't want to toughen any aspect of the fish. I just want it just cooked. Okay. And I need to pop a squeeze of lemon in there. Okay, and then the lid back on so it's just gently cooking. And I need to have a look at my sauce over here. And I'm going to turn that up a little bit. And I've got watercress here, which is going to basically go into the sauce and some into the trout when it's ready. Okay, so that's all nice and ready to go. So we can pop those. Got our mustard, which you can't have a mustard sauce without mustard. So our sauce is coming down nicely. Okay, let's have a look here. Just going to just turn those trout fillets up. You can't start to work it until it's just cooked, but there's a big difference between being just cooked and overcooked, as you'll know. Okay, so move that and get rid of that. And then over here, I've got some onion rings. These onion rings I did yesterday. So so basically sliced an onion, taken the individual rings, pop them into some milk, into some paprika flour, seasoned paprika flour. So about 1/3 paprika to 2/3 flour, and then season, and then just gently deep fried them. And I just did them in a small pan on the stove. I mean, you can use, if you've got a fryer, that's great. And they're just to garnish on the top. Just having a look now at my sauce. So it's telling me it's ready to get a bit of mustard. That spoon won't fit in, so we need a little teaspoon. That's looking good, that is. Right, so that's right. That is right. So number 2. Pop that over there. Stick that on the back. Let's have a look at our trout. Right, and that's ready now. Okay, so the trout, I'm just going to pour off the excess butter. So it's just poached in that butter. Okay, sometimes you need a little bit of the butter just to go back in, just to make it lush. Okay, and then just break the trout down. And sometimes I put a little bit of sauce in there, but if you get the trout just perfect, which it's looking that way. So it needs a little bit more seasoning. And it needs a squeeze of lemon. I'm just going to pop I know what you're thinking, is almost putting all that butter, but that is just giving me that lush consistency. So if to show you, you see that's sort of a warm patty, and now I'm going to pop some of the watercress in there. Let's move that out of the way. Okay. I think we're about there with that. Okay, so put the lid on and just keep that nice and warm. And now I've got a little plate here that looks perfect. Okay, so I'm going to get one of one of the black pudding oats that I put in a little bit earlier. And just get that to go in to the bottom, and then hopefully I can just open this cling film up. Okay, and then I turn out black pudding, and I've just got this little container because my press is no longer, and I can just get that nicely shaped there on the top, and you see how it's just gone a little bit over. Well, I can cover that with the sauce, so I'm not overly concerned about that. Okay, so what we need to do now is to get our quenelle on the top, and this is when I was saying about quenelling. This is the quenelle. Whoa! So, how do you fancy doing that on a Saturday night? There we go. And that's pretty much perfect. That sits like that on the top. That's worked. And then we now need to kick our sauce. So we can just move that away. And it's come up to the boil now, and pop some of the watercress in there. Then nice and carefully we need to put the sauce. Ooh, you have to be very dexterous, but even I spilt a little bit there. So you always have a wipe ready just in case, because if you're on the service and you're doing 100 covers, you need to be able to carefully wipe your plate. So and there we go, and then get some onions. And this dish from a presentation point of view has really never changed, but it is such a lovely thing. And there's our black pudding and pink trout with a mustard and watercress sauce, and that dates back quite a while, but is a delicious eat. So I hope you're going to have a go at this. Enjoy. Thank you. Hi, I'm Nigel Howarth. If you like what you've just seen, then subscribe to our YouTube channel or follow us on social media. Enjoy.